So I've got a new analogy for you today. So the way that I've been thinking about it is the Premier League is like an endurance speed race, and every club is a vehicle. So what vehicle do we have in this endurance speed race? We've got some 16-wheeled truck, overweight, full of goods, slow as hell, not enough gas in the tank, and
So
the driver.
are we talking about Leicester or me now here, mate?
Leicester, not you, mate. Well, no, I'm not. No, don't make me bring up the moustache. Anyway, and we've got fat, we've got lazy, we've got slow. What we need to do is build a modern, slick, new sports car. And in order to build that sports car, what you cannot do is have lots of different designers, i.e. managers, who have their own idea about what parts to use, because you cannot integrate different parts together to make this machine efficient. So the first thing you need to do is to get your design sorted, i.e. what style of play do we want to play? And that comes from the very top, not just Top himself, but the board. And we all need to be in unison about that idea. What kind of play do we want to be? A possession-based team, but that's not really going to work in the Premier League too easily. Do we want to be a counter-attacking team because that will be more effective in the Premier League? But how are we a counter-attacking team when you're a big fish in the Championship? These are the kind of questions that you need to resolve in your mind, but you need to have that ability to be a counter-attacking, quick, powerful, athletic, technical team. There's a lot of requirements in that too. So, first thing, get your design sorted. Once you've got your design sorted, then it's about identifying the right parts. They've all got to be an average age of under 23. Under 23 average age in the Championship, that's what we need. And let this team build 40, 50, 100 games together. Even if we finish 12th in the Championship, I don't care. Give them a full season, give them another season. But as long as you get the quality of those kids right, don't worry about experience, don't worry about all the old notions. All these young players are on low wages too, because naturally they're young players. Certainly compared to the old experienced pro ones. You bring your wage bill down, you suck up short-term pain for long-term gain. But when you do get back in the Premier League, you've suddenly got a young, athletic, quick, strong team that can translate that quality into the Premier League. Plus, you have lots of room on your PSR allocation anyway. So that is the way I'd go and say it's the old-fashioned 3-year project. But that doesn't mean that we get annoyed in a year and a half because it's not working so well. We have to make a commitment as a club, as a fan base, that we are going to go youth with resale value, but they've got to be dynamic, they've got to be fast, they've got to be strong, athletic. Build that super quick team. Look what Forest are doing with Elanga and Hudson-Odoi as their wingers. You know, even if they don't have the super fast striker, the damage that those two wingers are doing and helping Wood is outstanding. So we need to go back to finding those players. The scouting, the recruitment has to be bang on. But if Man City or Real Madrid are going to steal players like Jeremy Monga from us, then why don't we go and steal some players from them? There's going to be kids that will get nowhere near the Man City first team, and they know it. Why don't we go and nick some of their kids and let them sweat about our scouting for a little bit? They're going to have kids that are going to be highly technical, well-trained, eager to play, but there's limited playing time at these big clubs. Let's go and pilfer some of their talent for once.
I think that's harder than you realize, because all of them thinks that they will be the ones that make it. I think that they'll be a bit older when they realize they can, right? Your Callum Doyles maybe, or I've seen it in Copenhagen recently, right? They're focused a lot on youth. You know, they have 30-40% of their starting players be youth players, and it's only, despite them having a very good academy, the top prospects that make it. Within the past year, they've sold 3 or 4, highly rated prospects simply because while they were good, they weren't good enough. But you won't be getting these 16, 17-year-old. They still have the belief that they will cut it at the top club. But when they reach that 18, 19 or 20, when they need first team minutes in the legs, that's when you can start getting those steals, because that's when Man City will have to make the realization that they are simply not going to get the minutes here. We need to sell for something.
There are some players out there. Mark Gray, for example. Sorry, go on.
I was going to say, cheap petrol in your precision sports car. That's like what we're doing with Seagrave, right? The state-of-the-art facilities, and we've got Jordan Ayew and D. Cordova-Reid playing water polo in the swimming pool.
No, I think everybody's making a massive mistake about Seagrave. So all of you Seagrave haters out there, I think you're just looking at it on too short a time
Well, Mark
scale.
Albrighton's, out of his own mouth, he also said that there was a massive difference in the feeling around the club when the club moved to Seagrave. That's
How did-
how Mark Albright.
that's
How did how did how did
players.
Beaver Drive how did Beaver Drive help us when we got relegated from the Championship into League
It's-
One? Was
no.
was Beaver Drive a
We're not
massive
talking
asset
about
at the
that.
time?
We're not talking about that. We're talking about the family feeling around the squad, the staff, around the club. And Mark Albrighton, who you love, Manny, Leicester legend, out of his own mouth, who experienced the good times and not quite as bad as this season, but the relegation in 2023, he experienced that. He said that.
I don't think you foster team spirit just by the venue that you do it in. It's about human beings and relationships. That can be done anywhere. It's not as if you have a club with terrible facilities or brilliant. Real Madrid have the best facilities along with us in the world. Are there players being accused of having it too fancy and they need to get some grime into them and realise that they need to earn their 250 grand a week? No, come on. The thing about Seagrave is that people are looking for instant results. It takes a lot of time to reap the benefits of a long-term project like this.
Jeremy Monga.
And my case is Jeremy Monga, Jake Evans, Henry Cartwright.
Who will
There's
leave?
about 3 or 4 more of them as well. It's not just those 3.
I know.
The England under 17s, 16s, 15s are now full of Leicester kids that have been developed at Seagrave. So give these kids another 3, 4, 5 years, and you will see the very first wave come through.
But you're talking about somebody who we're going to get £1 million for at a tribunal.
That's out of our control. That's the rules, isn't it?
Yeah, but this is what happens.
They have to fix those.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't always work out like that. That we've had Harvey Barnes, Ben Chilwell come through, and they were £50 million and £40 million players too.
Beaver Drive.
Look, okay, but my point is that Seagrave itself is not a blocker to develop this high quality talent. The high quality talent, apparently, and the reports from what I've seen and the bits that I've seen, the bits that all of us have seen, we've got a really, really exciting youth team on our hands, and I don't think it's going to be the last. The chances are, if you are a brilliant youth team, you go to Seagrave, you go, that's what, if you're a father and a mother, right, you're the one that makes the decision for your 12, 13-year-old kid. And if you go to Seagrave and you go, whoa, yes, I want my boy to train. Okay, but they can't have every single kid in the world. They can have the best 20, and we could compete for a handful of the next best 20. My point is that you can't question better facilities being inhibiting you. If it is, then it's a problem with yourself. It's not a problem with the facilities. You need to find other ways to garnish team spirit or get that realism into the players or get the mentality right. I see that as an excuse. What we are seeing with Seagrave is the first wave come through, and when they come through, it's not going to be a usual wave. It's not like a bunch of relatively low talented kids. We are talking potential international players and superstars on our hands. So let's see if that does materialise. I'm making a lot of suppositions there. So let's see if that happens.
Shortly, it's a bit of a mix of both, right? Because I think Albrighton's claims are very fair, and that there's most likely some family feeling that gets lost when you move into this very corporate, multi-billion or £100 million facilities. But I don't think it's a hindrance. I think it's also something to do with the team we had in and around that time at Beaver Drive, right? That was the period of success when it was all about the group coming together. It's not that energy anymore, and I think that's some of it as well, right? So you can't only put it on the training ground. And I think what we need to realize as well is those training grounds, especially in the situation we are currently in, is one of our huge selling factors that we have elite state-of-the-art facilities.